Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on how we can actually do automation report. As you can refer over here, we do have a file named stock take January 2023. So in this particular file, we do have the list of inventories, the category, and the quantity of the current available products, and the measurement and price per unit. And we also have another file, as you can refer over here, we do have the minimum criteria, whereby we have the inventories ID, minimum inventories to be stored in the supermarket. So the basically now what is the role is, now we do have two different files. One file is the stock take, the current available stocks, and another file we have the minimum products that can be stored inside the supermarket. So now what I'm going to do is I just want to merge these two tables. So for this table we do have the minimum criteria, minimum inventories, and this table over here we do have the current available products. So if you notice carefully, in this particular table we have the inventories ID, and is in another table we also have the inventories ID. So normally we can use VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP to match the data, but I'm not going to use VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP or any lookup formula to match the data. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Power Query to match the data. Okay, so let's get started. So now I'm going to create a new workbook over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the data. I want to go to get data, and I'm going to go to from file, and I want to go to from Excel workbook, because I want to import the data from my Excel workbook. So once I click from the Excel workbook, and then I choose my location. So if just say you're going to perform audit inventories, so I'm going to choose the January file, January folder, and I'm going to choose the stock take January 2023, and I press import. So once I press import, and then it will load for a while, and then you will notice that a box will appear. So I want to choose the tab called current inventories, and in the current inventories this is the information. So I'm going to go to transform data, so just for us to have a look what is the data is. So if you look carefully, we have gone to the Power Query editor. So now we have inventories ID, inventories name, inventories category, quantity of available products, measurement, and price per unit. So what I'm going to do is I want to click close and load to, and I want to click only create connection. So once I press OK, so you will notice on the right hand side we just only create the connection. And I want to do another report similarly from file, from Excel workbook. So I'm going to click from Excel workbook, and this time I choose the minimum criteria. So now we do have the available inventories, and also we need to have the minimum criteria. So I'm going to click this, and I want to press transform data so that we can have a look what is the data is. So if you notice, we are now in the Power Query editor, and we do have the inventories ID, minimum inventories, measurement, and comments as well. So I'm going to close and load only to create connection. Okay, so only create connection, and I press OK. So technically we have import two different reports in our Excel workbook. So now what I'm going to do is I want to merge these two tables. So I just go to get data, combine query, and merge. So I want to merge the current inventories and criteria. So what I'm going to do is over here I just want to use the current inventories, and over here I want to choose the criteria. So we have inventories ID, and we want to select the second one as well. So the selection matches 25 out of 25, and now I press OK. So now when I press OK, automatically we have been gone to the navigated to the Power Query editor. So let me click on these two box over here, the two arrows, and I want to untick inventory IDs, and I want to untick the original column, and I press OK. So now automatically we do have the inventories. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to look the side by side available products, and also I want to know the minimum inventories that need to be stored. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this, I just click on the header, I press control, so that now we do select these two, and I want to click on the inventories ID, inventories name. Okay, so and then I just press right click, remove other columns. So now automatically over here you can see we have inventories ID, inventories name, minimum inventories, quantity of available product. So let me arrange this accordingly. So I put the quantity of available product over here, and I want to put the minimum inventories over here. Okay, so basically we have inventories ID, inventories name, quantity available products, minimum inventories. So next step is what I'm going to do is I want to know the status, whereby what is the status? What if just say the available products is greater than the minimum products, then we do have available stocks. But if just say in this case over here, if just say we do have lesser available products compared to the minimum products, then we will have put a status called which is uh, out of stock. That means that our stock is not sufficient. So what I'm going to do is I just want to create a add column, custom column, and then what I'm going to do is, so once I click custom column, a box will appear, and I want to put here as status. Okay, I'm going to put this as status, and over here I'm going to put as if. So if just say, okay, if, okay, maybe I put here if quantity, maybe I'll just put here quantity available products which is greater than the minimum. Okay, so if the available products is greater than the minimum, then I'm going to put right here then. Okay, so if then, and then I will just say, maybe I'll put here as available. Okay, available inventories available. Otherwise, else I'm going to write here as out of stock. Okay, so I've written a status over here. If just say the quantity is greater than the minimum inventories, then the stocks are available. Otherwise, we have a status of out of stocks. So now we have no syntax error, and now when I press OK. So when I press OK, so now we notice that the stocks are available. So now what I'm going to do next is I just want to press home and I press close and load. So when I press close and load, you will notice that automatically it will be loaded over here. So now this is the data that we have been merged for the month of January. But now the question is, what if just say I want to change the file or February data? So what I'm going to do is I just want to go over here and I select right click, I go to edit. So once I go edit, and then the next step is what I'm going to do is I want to change the location of the file. So I go to data source and I just, here is January, so I just to change, and instead of min January, I want to select the minimum for February. So I go to audit inventories, I select February, I select here, I press import, and then I press OK, and I do the same. I go here, I change, and this time I also choose for February stock take, and I press import. And then what I do, I press OK, and I close the file, and now I press close and load. So once I close and load, you will notice both these files has been appended, and then automatically if you notice that, okay, so now when I just press go to data and I press refresh, now if you notice that we have the data has changed accordingly. Okay, let us try again so that we can understand clearly. So now what if they say I change for the next month? I right click, I go to edit, okay, and what I'm going to do this time is I want to change the data source. So instead of February, I want to change for March. So I click here and then I choose March. Okay, I choose March, I press open, I click March. Okay, so now this is the file, so I just want to choose March and I press OK. And I will do the same for the stock take. So the stock take also, I'm going to change source and I'm going to put as March as well. I press OK. So now we have March. I press close, refresh again. So once I press refresh, so now we do have the data for March.